It's almost impossible to remain neutral after watching Mother. The film has been dividing audiences ever since its premiere, but whether you love it or hate it, you have to give it credit because it keeps people talking. Hey everyone, I'm Marianna, and let's talk about this latest love it or hate it film from Darren Aronofsky. Now, before I go any further, I don't think there's much point in talking about Mother without at least touching on its themes, so I am going to talk a little bit about what I think this movie is trying to say. I am not going to give you any actual spoilers as far as what happens in the movie, but if you are the type of person who considers any kind of information about the film a spoiler, then this review may not be for you. Watch the movie, then come back so we can talk about it. I personally think that knowing what to look for, or at least one side of what to look for, enhances the experience of this particular film, but I am giving you a warning just in case. The story revolves around a couple living in an old secluded house. Javier Bardem plays a poet who is struggling with creating, and Jennifer Lawrence is his very supportive wife, who, as she says herself, wants to make a paradise out of their home. Suddenly, people start showing up at their doorstep, and things escalate from there. That is the basic premise of the movie, but it's not really what it's about. Mother is a very allegorical film. It's a parable in film form, loaded with meaning, metaphors, and symbolism. And though you kind of can take it literally and watch it as this home invasion family drama with some commentary on fame, it's obvious there is much more to it. If I wanted to describe what Mother was really about, it would be impossible to settle on just one thing. It's about a creator and his inspiration. It's about worship and fanaticism. It's about the concepts of feminine and masculine. It's about giving. It's about love. It's about earth and the environment. It's about the lack of respect people have for the planet. It's about the frustration and helplessness one feels as things fall apart and get out of control. And it's about the circular nature of life. It's about so many things, and though you can find reasons to criticize it, the one thing it doesn't lack is meaning. The movie starts off with a dreamlike stage play atmosphere and gradually turns into a nightmare. You can tell this is going to turn dark from the very beginning, but Darren Aronofsky takes the striking imagery very far. And it has been too far for a lot of people. However, though this movie is weird and crazy, there is a reason for all of that. It's an interesting film to analyze, to dig into, and watch again to really try to break it down. Mother is driven by archetypes and ideas rather than realistic characters, which is why nobody has an actual name. The characters are him, mother, woman, man, younger brother, and so on. It's the kind of movie that takes big concepts that can be difficult to digest and condenses them into a small space to make them more relatable. For example, it can be difficult to wrap your mind around how human behavior affects the world and the environment, and how small things can add up. But if all of that is condensed into random visitors trashing your house, it's much easier to understand. The religious angle versus Mother Nature is, to me, the most obvious allegory here. There are a lot of parallels with the Bible. Some are easier to recognize than others, but if you look close enough, you will actually be able to predict some of the things that happen. Even the working title of the movie was Day 6, which is obviously a huge clue. Javier Bardem's character, referred to as him, is literally struggling with creating in this film. He finds his inspiration in people, advocates for forgiveness and sharing, and welcomes admiration. There are a lot of things in this film, which I am not going to ruin for you, that point to him being a god figure. The character of Mother, portrayed brilliantly by Jennifer Lawrence, who delivers her best performance to date, just wants to create a paradise and is very connected to the house they live in. The further you get into the movie, the more the imagery pushes you towards the idea of the house being earth and the mother being nature. If you think about pre-Christian religions, there is always that concept of the mother goddess who personifies nature and fertility, the earth goddess, the divine feminine. And if we go back to Christianity, it brings us to Mary, obviously also a mother. And since we're on the topic of earth and nature, it's also clear that Darren Aronofsky has some very strong opinions on how we as humans have been treating our planet. This film is an outlet for his frustrations and a warning for what he thinks is yet to come if we don't change our ways. The symbolism of the film can be approached from a few different angles, but the religious and the environmental parallels, and later in the film the reflection on the state of humanity, are far from subtle here. I think regardless of whether or not you agree with what he has to say, Aronofsky succeeds in sharing his vision here, and even though most people are going to either love or hate this movie, the fact that it gets such strong reactions out of its audiences is a good thing. Art should make you feel something. It should have an effect on you. It should make you think. You shouldn't just forget about it within an hour, and Mother will definitely leave people thinking and talking about it for a while. What I ended up somewhat struggling with was the cinematography. There are some undeniably gorgeous shots in Mother, but there are way too many close-ups. I know this is intentional, and it's very much meant to be a film from the perspective of Jennifer Lawrence's character, but being that up close to the characters for such a long portion of the film was just too much for me and quite uncomfortable at points. And to add to that, there were moments of what looked like shaky cam that I really could have done without. So for all of those reasons, and for the wonderful performances, especially from Jennifer Lawrence, I am giving Mother 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend you go see this movie as long as you know what you're getting into. And by the way, do not buy into the marketing selling this as a horror film. Yes, there are some horrific and graphic things that happen in Mother, some of which are used in the trailers. However, this is not a horror film. It is most certainly not a film for everyone, but I believe it's important to go see films that will challenge you and leave you thinking. So that's it for this video. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. If you've seen it already, let's discuss all of your theories. And if you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!